And a win is a win. Eagles beat the Bears today, 22-14. And look at this celebration. Look, that's Jake Elliott hanging out with the guys in the front. Great win.
It's a bit of an epidemic. I think these end zone touchdown celebrations when the kicker's getting involved.
It's a little bit over the top.
At some point, it's a little overplayed, don't you think?
A little bit.
He's always wanted to be a part of the moment, you know?
The kickers are people too.
Gotta give
That's what they
them
say.
some
Let's have
credit.
this fun. Welcome to Birds Outsiders, presented by Rivers Casino. Told you I'd get that right. Natalie, Egenolf, Roy Burton. I'm Jason Ashworth. Now, normally, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm at home, right, and I'm doing this right here, I get that. I get the get off your device. Right?
Yeah.
Tonight is the night, at least for the next half hour, you're allowed to use your device. Just use the hashtag Birds Outsiders. We'd love to take your thoughts, your feedback. Regarding a 22-14 Eagles win, they return to the link. They get the big W against the Bears. Some good, some bad. Overall, look, a win is a win. It may not be that sexy, but overall, it's a W. Natalie, how are we feeling?
So I know that I was feeling not so optimistic a couple weeks ago. The color is starting to return to my world. I'm feeling good after that. Again,
here we go.
like
Go
you said,
again.
it wasn't pretty. But I'm happy that we're going into the bye with a winning record. What more can I ask for at this time? It would not. I mean, I could ask for a lot. However, I'm going to remain positive. And yes, I'm no longer in the dull black and white world of
rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, I'm asking for no more rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
Roy, how do you feel?
You know what? I have resigned myself to the fact that this team will not win pretty, unless they play the Jets. Because the Jets are pretty wins. A win is a win, and they're 5-4, and they're on a roll heading into the bye week. So I'll take that. But as we always talk about, before we prep for the show, or while we prep for the show, context matters. Yeah. So if you told me before the game the Eagles would win 22-14 against the Bears, I'd be like, okay, that's great. But the way it played out, given the fact they were up 19-0, given the fact they completely dominated the Bears, in the first half of the game, and have it end the way they did, I am a little concerned. But again, a win is a win. You don't get bonus points for beautiful wins. So 5-4, I'll take it.
I don't get bonus points for beautiful wins?
No bonus points.
Oh, nobody told me that. Yeah, at the end of the day, and not to beat a dead horse and repeat you, but yeah, a win is a win, right? When you go through the schedule, I don't care how you get there, win your division, get to the playoffs.
Take care of business.
I don't care how you do it, and there's going to be plenty of wins along the way that aren't pretty, right? I don't necessarily, like you say, we don't get bonus points for beautiful wins or pretty wins. Just get the W. That said, some good, some bad. Because we're in unicorns and rainbow territory.
But also some ugly.
Oh, there's plenty of ugly. But because we're in rainbows and unicorns territory, let's start with the good. Yeah. For me, the good rests in the first half defense.
100%.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
You saw pressure on the quarterback. Yeah. You saw a defensive line that smothered the run. They held the Bears, I believe, to 9 yards the entire first half. Yeah. So if I'm going to start with the good, I want to pinpoint that defense in the first half.
Well, and I think about when you think about the way that the Eagles have started their games this season, starting off strong like that, holding them to 9 yards is, I think, a much more vast improvement.
Oh, sure.
From the way we've seen the beginning of these games happen over the last, 6 weeks.
And not just that, they had 5 straight 3-and-outs. 5 3-and-outs in a row to start the game.
Yeah.
When you hold a team to 5 straight 3-and-outs, I mean, that's a very impressive thing. I can't even remember the last time I've seen any NFL defense do that in a game. But on top of that, the Chicago had the ball for 9 minutes and 15 seconds in the entire first half. You dominated the ball. They couldn't stay on the field at all. They got their first down in the first half with 57 seconds left in the first half. That was a complete, utter, dominant performance. Shout out to the Jalen Mills, not Jalen Mills, Avonte Maddox, and those guys coming back on the defense to fortify that squad.
Go Bears.
I think Trubisky stinks out loud.
Out loud.
So, I mean, I kind of felt good about what we could do defensively against him regardless, but really on both sides of the ball, and again, I'm just speaking first half, but on both sides of the ball, I'm going to give credit to the line as well. The defensive line, they wreaked havoc on Trubisky and company. They stopped the run offensively. They really paved the way, dominated in the time of possession. So really on both sides of the ball, the line deserves credit in the first half. Now,
well, and so Dave checks in with us. He says positives. O-line and D-line seem to be emerging. And I think that's really what we're starting to see here. And not only are they emerging, but it's happening early.
It's happening early.
Which is when we need it to happen.
Right. You got 3 sacks in the first half.
Absolutely,
6 quarterback hits in the first half. Mitchell Trubisky only had 24 yards. For a team that consistently starts slow on offense, although they didn't do it today, for a team that consistently starts slow on offense, you need your defense to come out and be strong in the first half.
So if only they could have stopped in the first half, what was it, a 19-0 lead?
19-0.
19-0.
So 19-0 lead. You get to the second half, and I think we can take a positive from it because despite the adversity, right, despite letting the Bears back in the game and making it at one point a 19-14 game, they fought through. They found a way to win the game.
They held on.
My positive is Wentz. Right? Because we all know that I bang on Wentz, but when pressure bust pipes, and I came out and I said, look, regardless of what happened in the first 3 quarters, regardless of what plays were called, who dropped what pass, all eyes are now on the franchise quarterback to win this game. Go make some plays, Carson, and receive some heat. So all those terrible play calls in the red zone in the first quarter, all those wasted points left on the field are now on Carson. No Frank. He can't throw it and run it down the field to catch his own pass. I know this,
That's a very
That's not what I'm asking for. Are you kidding me? He has no wide receivers who can catch. True, he does it. Did you see the drop again from Jeffrey? That's not on Wentz. Doug stopped calling the running game. This is on Peterson. That one's from Jeff. Look, I understand the adversity. I understand that wide receivers are dropping the ball left and right. But what was it, 3? I believe it was 3 for Alshon Jeffrey. No wide receiver had a good game. We're going to get into that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear this nonsense that in the 4th quarter, I have a franchise quarterback. Despite everything that happened, I'm not asking Carson to go out, throw it, track it down, bring it in, and get him for 6. I'm asking him to make plays where he can make plays. Give his guys an opportunity to make plays.
To be fair,
which
he did.
Which he did. He went on a 6. So he went punt, 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 and then I'm putting out those tweets saying, look, Carson, you got to make a play.
I need to see something.
Made a play.
All of a sudden, a 16-play drive takes up 8 minutes and 14 seconds. They put 3 points on the board, 8-point lead. That's what I was asking Carson.
And what did we say at the end of the last game? We need more drives like that. Right. He stepped up and he made it happen. So I really don't know what more I can expect from him right now because he doesn't have that help.
This is 2 games in a row now.
2 games in a row.
The Bills game, you needed a drive to ice it.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz 14-play drive. This game, another 16-play drive to ice it at the end, especially in this game, 4 for 4 on 3rd down. Again, you're not going to make the big splashy plays because you don't have the playmakers to make those big splashy plays. But you can still matriculate the ball down the field. That's exactly what Carson Wentz did today. That's all you can ask for your quarterback. Again, don't turn the ball over, convert on 3rd down, move the ball down the field, and score 7 when you get there.
I also liked another positive from today with Wentz was the simplicity in his decision making when he chose to go to Zach Ertz. He said after the game, I don't know what was the difference this game because we didn't really see much of Ertz, a lot this season, the last 2 games. So I just like that he was going to the guy who he knew was going to be reliable instead of trying to make something happen with the receivers when they can't execute.
Ultimately, I just don't want to make it doesn't matter who dropped what. Right, and it doesn't matter whatever adversity you face. It doesn't look once you get into Q4 and you got the ball and it's in your hands. You have an opportunity to move the ball down the field, put points on the board, and essentially put the game away. It's up to you. The ball's in your hands. Right. You're paid to be a franchise quarterback. Yeah. So I just don't want to make excuses. I want you to go out there and do what's necessary. He did that. Again, a 16-play drive. Took up 8:14 on the clock, so we're good, right?
Yeah, we're good.
That's all I'm asking. And I don't think that's too much to ask from a franchise quarterback.
No, that's fair. And to your point, and you always say this, if he's going to be elite, you're going to hold him to those expectations.
Hold him accountable.
And you should.
Because that's okay.
You should.
Right? It's okay to
hold
your franchise quarterback to a certain level.
If he's getting paid at an elite level, he needs to perform at an elite level. Simple as that.
Yeah, there's no excuses anymore. I do agree with you on that.
That's enough of the good. Can we get past the good now? That was fun.
I felt good, though.
We're all built up. We feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the bad now, okay? Still a 22-14 win, but on the bad, I said it early in the game. When look, 3 is good. They started off the game, they drove down the field, they put up 3. Fantastic. Hey, I'll take points because it was a nice drive. And the next drive, they come down, they drive down the field, what they do?
3
they
again.
put up 3. And I get it. It's points on the board, and I like that. But the quickest way to lose a game in the NFL is to settle for field goals. 2 and 4 in the red zone, not good enough. I need to see them start converting Those into touchdowns.
So Jill Potter checks in with us. She says, I shouldn't feel like I want to throw my television out the window when we are obviously the dominating team. That's annoying. So and I think that's the gut of the frustration of the entire fan base. It's okay, while they're winning and things are going fine, why does it have to be so frustrating?
That was the thing. It's like you read off the numbers: 9 yards for the Bears, 202 yards for the Eagles. At the end of the first half, after 30 minutes, it was 12-0.
Field goals.
12-0. Again, like
is that what it was at the end of the first
half? It was 12-0 at the end of the first half.
Okay.
Yeah, 12-0 at the end of the first half. You can't keep giving teams the Bears are a bad team, but you can't give good teams a 12-0 lead after giving all that, because if you're in that same position against the Patriots or the Seahawks, you're probably going to lose the game because again, you can't keep leaving points on the field.
Agreed, and that's what happens. So a 19-0 lead evaporates, and now it's 19-14. Right. So that's another bad in the fact that they allowed the Bears back in the game. But I think the biggest thing that we need to highlight in terms of What happened was Deshaun Jackson's return. I want to dig into this for a minute because we waited since week 2 to bring this guy back. Obviously, he had an injury. We finally get him back. He gets one series on. He drew the penalty great, then had one grab for 5 yards.
Yeah.
You don't see him the rest of the game. He goes back to the locker room. They say it's an equipment issue. Bottom line is you don't see it. If Deshaun Jackson, the big issue here, if Deshaun Jackson is not going to be able to be healthy enough to stay on the football field, how does that affect this team moving forward?
Well, and it's funny, Roy and I kind of said this prior to, the show today. It kind of seemed like a Band-Aid move to bring him back.
Yeah.
If he actually, was he really ready to come back? I don't know.
I was thinking he practiced in a limited fashion all week, didn't really work with the team before that. And now he was a starting wide receiver in a game, again, right before a bye.
Right.
You have plenty of time to get him ready for a bye. To me, it seemed like a desperate move by a 4-4 team trying to go into a bye on a 2-game winning streak.
So I'll tell you what, and if he can't stay healthy and if he's not on the field, a lot of what we saw through the first 8 games of the season, now 9 games of the season, you're going to see again because this offense is predicated on the deep ball, not necessarily just in terms of stretching the field.
Correct.
Now, look, they've gotten by and they've gotten to a 5-4 record, but this offense is built on having a Deshaun Jackson type. We've seen it year after year after year in Doug's offense. He's got that deep threat.
Right.
Without Deshaun Jackson, who you got? Is Nelson going to stretch the field? Is Mac Hollins going to stretch the field? Right. I don't know who that guy's going to be. So I think we all agree they may have mishandled the situation.
They did mishandle
with a bye week right after.
I agree.
And I don't necessarily know if they expected that it would happen so quickly. Nobody thought he was.
Well, Doug said he was going to play the whole game.
And
so
that was the expectation. But if the reality of the situation was that he was that unprepared to come back, that he played, how long was it?
Series.
One series, and then you're going to take him out. Just leave it.
Yeah, don't even
leave it be. We understand what the
you've lived with those other receivers for the last 7 games.
That's what I mean. We know what the receiving core is right now, so try and work with what you got. I guess maybe I don't know.
You know what the receiving core is? Is it good enough?
Oh,
it is not good enough. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Mac Hollins. Over the last 6 games, they have combined for 1 catch for 13 yards. They are not good enough. Nelson Aguilar, I mean, it's time for him to shine. I don't know what the problem is for him, but maybe, think of the Lizzo song. Why are men great till they got to be great? Maybe Nelson Aguilar has to be great. And you know what? He just can't step up. He just can't step up to the plate.
Today, anyway, Alshon 4 for 36.
Oh.
The rest of the wide receivers combined 4 for 26.
That's not going to get this time.
And I'm talking running backs, tight ends.
It's a real punch in the face, Jason. Don't
Ain't
you
it though?
It's it's almost like if you're a quarterback and you want to punch a bear right in the face.
Natalie.
That's how it felt. We'll talk about the defense and more when we come back on Birds Outsiders. To be a Chicago fan today, and that's 1-yard game for the Bears. Bears fans look pretty sky. That is exactly how they felt once they finally got it.
Wow.
Look at that guy.
Can you see it one more time?
Yeah.
Can you get it one more time?
Where's the slide?
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
You gotta get a real hold on her.
Yeah. Just literally ripped it off and then he died.
I love it. Welcome back to Birds Outsiders, presented by Rivers Casino. As we'll mention in a minute, the Eagles stood pat at the trade deadline, didn't make any moves, and we'll get to that in a second. I believe in their mind it was acquisition by health, right? Because this week they were going to get back Timmy Jernigan, Avonte Maddox, Darren Sproles, the aforementioned Deshaun Jackson, because that was a great health ad, if you will. but of the 4 guys that we just mentioned, Natalie, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Who had the biggest impact in the return?
And I think it's a position that we've kind of harped on all season long. Avonte Maddox, I think, was solid, and I was so glad to have him back. I think he made a huge impact. And I think that that's exactly what we needed because, again, it's been so inconsistent.
Yeah, I agree with you. Maddox, Darby, and Mills, that's your best trio of quarterbacks. So having those guys on the field for the first time since week 3 of last year is huge because before this, again, you were rolling guys like Sidney Jones, who wasn't even active today, out on the field. Having Avonte Maddox in the slot changes the whole back end of the defense.
Sidney Jones was what, second round pick?
Second round pick.
Right, didn't really translate. I'm going with Timmy Jernigan because I was having practice squad players fill out my defensive line. And I'm a guy that likes to live in the trenches. I want to build my offensive line. I want to build my defensive line.
You are a trench guy.
I'm a trench guy. I get down in the dirty. Right? I roll my sleeves up. I get my hands muddy. To me, that's where football games are won and lost. So to get back Timmy Jernigan, and you saw it in the first half. Yeah. Not only pressure on the quarterback, but just run stuffing. So for me, having Timmy Jernigan's back was huge. But let's rewind a little bit. They did stand pat, right? And we mentioned the fact that there were guys like Emmanuel Sanders that moved, and Mohamed Sanu that moved.
Right.
But we're still sitting here stuck with our receiving core that admittedly is not good enough.
Right.
Did the Eagles make the right move by not being active at the deadline?
Absolutely not. That's the thing. It's like even before what we saw this week, Doug Peterson told all of us that Deshaun Jackson would not be 100% healthy. You trotted him out. He got hurt again. Again, whatever you get from him from now is just gravy. It's just icing on the cake. The guys that go out on the field, they're not good. Nelson Aguilar, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I mean, like everybody you put out, Matt Collins, everybody you put out on the field, we all know are not NFL-capable receivers.
Right.
I think this is straight up organizational malfeasance on the behalf of Howie Roseman.
I agree, it's malfeasance, and but you know what's funny? When they didn't actually make a move, there was a part of me that was like, I'm not surprised because I wasn't that confident heading into the week that anything was going to be done.
But they should have.
They should have.
Josh Gordon cost you nothing.
Well, we said trade acquisition.
Well, trade, okay.
Because
right.
I don't need to give up a second-round pick for Emmanuel Sanders. I don't. And if that's the price, then fine, stand pat. But I do believe, look, I understand there's a lot more that goes into having Josh Gordon on your team
100%.
than simply claiming him, right? So how you roster/foster him on your team means something, right? And you got to take that into account.
However,
but I'm hard-pressed to believe that with the wide receivers that we have, that Josh Gordon is elite. He's not elite anymore. I'm not trying to fool anybody to say that he is.
It's another option.
He's better than what you have.
It's another option.
He's better than what you have.
Right?
And he cost you nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Can we take a shot? A flyer? Can you claim him? Meanwhile, the Seahawks go in, they add to their wide receiver core. We'll see what he does. Now, outside of the wide receivers, we're heading into a bye week.
Yeah.
What's our biggest concern? Well, let's start with you. What's our biggest concern with this team heading into the bye week?
I am still concerned about the lack of balance on offense because last week with the Bills, we saw a little bit better run-pass balance. So I'm like, maybe that's something that's the harbinger for things to come. This week, you had the lead for the entire game. You called, 47 passes to 32 runs? You could have had a little bit more balance, yet you're still chucking the ball down the field. Granted, you got away with it because, again, you called short passes.
Yeah.
We wound up having the ball for 40 minutes because the Bears' defense, you were able to find the holes in their defense. But you can't keep throwing the ball over and over and over, especially, again, against a team like the Seahawks or like the Patriots. You're going to have to control the ball, control the clock for 35 minutes.
Very quickly, Natalie, because we got to get to break.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it's just their inconsistency as a team. You don't know who you're getting in the first half versus the second half. You don't know game to game. Is it going to be the offense that struggles? Is it going to be the defense that struggles? So for me, in order to have faith in this team, it's their inconsistency.
I agree with you. It's a total lack of identity, in my opinion.
Very possible.
In my opinion. So, yes, that's exactly what it is. Next up, oh no, Mr. Tom Brady coming to town, heading into the bye week. So that's who we'll face next when we come back on Birds Outsiders. But first, tailgate trivia.
Hey, welcome into Tailgate Trivia presented by Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles. I got Jim, I got Keith. You guys ready for a little tailgate trivia? Let's go. All right. This Bears tight end threw the touchdown pass to Nick Foles in the legendary Philly special. Trey Burton. Trey Burton is correct. We got Jim up 1-0. Jim is up 1-0. Question number two. This former Eagle kicked the double doink in the playoffs last year against the Eagles. Cody Park is correct. A dead heat. It's a dead heat. Here we go. All right. How fat can bears get? Closest without going over wins. 1250. 1250? Yep. Do you want to try? 700. 700? Yes. That is incorrect. 1250. 1,300 pounds. You're up by only 50 pounds. Yeah. Do you wrestle bears? Often. Did a bear inspire your beard? Oh, yes. So I thought, how many bears do you know? A couple. Oh, there we go. Well, either way, Keith is our winner. What do we have for Keith? Keith, congratulations. You won some beans. There we go. All right, Keith. It is time for the bonus question. Are you ready for one of the greatest single prizes you could ever win in your life? I'm ready. All right, don't worry. It's only a t-shirt if you get it right. Here we go. Can you do the Super Bowl shuffle? Yeah, probably not. All right, give it a shot. What do you think the 1985 Bears Super Bowl shuffle looked like? Go ahead, give it a shot.
Oh, they were dancing back and forth, and it's been a while since I've seen the video. I'm a Bears fan.
Look, you know what's funny? The the Bears don't even remember how to do the Super Bowl shuffle because it's been like 30 years. Jim, you want to try the Super Bowl shuffle?
I do not.
Okay, good talk. Keith is our winner. Big round of applause for Keith, everyone. There you go. There we go. Thank you very much for playing Tailgate Trivia, presented by Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Have you ever played one-day fantasy football? Now's your chance. Go to DraftKings.com to build your own lineup by choosing players and staying under the salary cap. Here's a look at the players we focused on in the 1 o'clock games. Doug did it again. Look at Doug.
Josh Allen.
Hey, look, he had, what, how many 20-point guys on there? Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm not taking Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's got that, though. Josh Allen.
That's a stone move right there. Welcome back to Birds Outsiders. All right, let's set the scene real quick heading into the bye week. 5-4, 2-game winning streak of that of the stretch, right? Of the bender, the 6-game bender they're on. They're now 2-2. So heading into the bye week, how confident are we in this? Who is this team, right? And how confident are we in them?
So again, like I said, I'm worried that they still don't have their identity. However, I think today and last week we're kind of seeing some semblance of it. So I'm confident that this week it will just be adjustments, heading in, a reset, and then I'm ready. I'm ready for the second.
I feel good again. You know, like I think they'll
bring on Tom Brady.
At the worst, they'll split these 2 games.
Right.
And you know what? They don't go. They get on a plane one more time for the rest of the year. They play Miami. That's the only plane trip you have. And when you sleep in your own bed, you know, you kind of feel good, and you have like some good energy with you. So I feel good going forward.
I don't love them. I like them. They're okay. TBD. I don't. Right. There's still so much for me that has to be determined that I just don't know how I feel about them. I'll tell you this real quick. If I have to pick any team between the Patriots and Seahawks that I want to, like, I'm going to learn more over the next 2 than I did over the previous 4. I'd rather beat the Seahawks. I've seen them beat the Patriots.
I want to see it again.
I can never see them beat the Patriots.
I've seen it,
especially at 8-0.
Show me you can beat the Seahawks. Either way, we get to enjoy some football next week.
Bring me Tom Brady.
We will see you in 2 weeks when we return. Patriots in town, 4:25 game. For Natalie, Egenolf, Roy Burton, I'm Jason Ashworth. We'll see you in 2 weeks on Birds Outsiders, presented by Rivers Casino.
Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game.